This is a really big hole in here. This is much bigger than I thought it was. So this one is, now it's 5 inches. We could go, it goes 8 inches. I'm thinking, go to the, I think a thin piece of steel, take it to the brake, give it a bend, and the screen is just not a good option for this particular, like this little guy over here. Yeah, he'd be okay for the screen. That's got that little dip in that lower skin material. But this guy, he's gonna need like actual metal. I just don't feel comfortable doing that one with screen. But we're gonna have to get creative on attaching it. Probably still gonna be some JB Weld on there. I mean, I don't know what's inside there. I'm not comfortable welding to that. I mean, obviously it'll probably burn through anyway. But yeah, it's. Let me get some. Let me get a piece of metal, and we'll make some stuff and see what we come up with. Okay, so on the side one, I feel like I probably made things harder on myself by making the pieces too long. So on the passenger side, here I've broken them down to 7-inch pieces. So I start with a 2-inch strip, 2-inch wide strip by 7. The front lip measurement, that's 3/8 in the brake. The inside is 11/16. So I break that, then I put it back in the brake, and I go to 11/16, and I put that angle on it. Now this one I put in the stretcher. I get the curve of the roof on it. If you can see that or not. That way I could match it up to the curve. So I made a couple of these, all the same measurements. Like one of these is a little long lip on it. I got to trim it. I think this one has the drip edge is too long on it. But that way I can do this in smaller pieces, and I think it would be way faster and way more manageable. So if you're doing it, if you're playing the home game, that's what I would do. Is these are 7 inches. So I've already bent them, and what I'll probably do is punch the weld holes in them, the plug holes, and then just hit them with weld through primer on the back. That way they can be dry when it's time to go. But that's actually I'm not going to put the primer on them because I may have to put them in the foot stretcher and put that curve in it, because like that one's got the curve of the roof line in it, and I have it's just a Harbor Freight shrinker stretcher. I'm using the shrinker, so I built the foot stand for it. So yeah, I used the shrinker to get the curve, like the windshield curve in it. So I may end up having to put slight curves in these pieces too. So all right, as you were. Well, we got all of our rust treated, and I don't know if you can see it in the other video, but this hole is pretty significant in here. And the screen trick, I mean, I just think this hole is way too big for the screen in JB Weld. So I made a panel. I'm going to slide it up in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop rivet it. I already drilled the holes. I'm going to pop rivet it in and put some seam sealer on the bottom of it before I slide it in. Kind of help try to seal it from the back. And once it's pop riveted in, I may put a little JB Weld along the front edge there, but I think that's going to be like this one over here, this little guy. that wouldn't work with JB Weldon screen, but this Startalac pit looking thing, it's just too big. So let me get my stuff ready and I'll get the next part going. Get some seam sealer. It's just some stuff I picked up off of Amazon. Put some seam sealer on the back of this. Like I say, this is just to keep out sparks going into the headliner area. I don't know what's under that hole, but I really don't want to find out with the cab fire. So stick this on here, and then that's cool. Look at that big old smear. Okay. Well, that'll take care of getting any sparks in that big hole. I hope. Let's see what we got here with the light. Okay. Safety first. No, can't wear those over my glasses. Safety last. Oh, look at that. Put that in your Wheaties, huh? Well, that is more rust than I really thought was going to be behind there. So we're gonna have to address that. Let me see if I can get a wire wheel in here or the grinder and get the surface rust out. We'll have to treat it with the Eastwood stuff and let it dry. There's no holes in it, which is good. So got that going for us. If there is a silver lining. See if this little guy is easier to get in there. You know, that is probably the cleanest section of lower skin out of the whole cab. And, I think we could probably just clean this up and hit it with the weld through primer. I don't know. think that may just we land. Put that in the shrinker stretcher. I think that'll work. I can see shiny metal in there. Let's see, more tape. With that piece in, we're like 4 7/8, like a 5-inch piece. Yeah, let me shrink stretch this, give it some shape, and blow this off with some air. That is the most solid piece of the cab I have come across. So I think we'll just hit that with some weld through primer. All right, trying to get this wrapped up today because this is taking much longer than I anticipated. So, to show you where we are now. I dressed down all the high spots and hit it with primer and some paint. So all the inner layer is prepped. I still need to hit the inside of the drip edge with some weld through primer. And I have got my first piece prepped, sprayed with weld through primer, holes drilled. What I want to do is I want to start working from the inside out. So I'll start working from the center to the passenger side. And I feel like this is a pretty good move. I think this is like 7 inches. I think that's a pretty decent size to work with. They're trying to make one big piece that's perfect. So got our first piece in position here. Make some clamps. These clamps I had to grind down the lower pieces because there was too much sticking out to get a good grip on this drip edge. Okay, do the thing. Very nice. There we go. Next piece is in place. Same story. Weld through primer, holes drilled in the bottom. The next piece, you have to incorporate this crown and the roof in it because there was rust in here. So we'll get this one welded in and then go after this section here. That'll be the last big piece of that. Some rust over here. Probably gonna have to cut these out and put some panels in there, but I think this will be the last big section. I'll turn the welder on here. Many hours later. Let me show you what we got. Holy smokes, man. This thing. All right. So the rail, the drip edge and the rail is complete. This thing should have been done a long time ago, but this corner, all it was missing was this little drip edge piece, and I went to put that on. The next thing you know, this whole corner is coming apart. So, got some things to touch up tomorrow on the driver's side. Grind down some welds in the drip bale. These ones are all done. Those are all smooth. Driver's side needs to be cleaned up. And I think there's one more little rust spot over there over the driver's door. And this thing should be done. I mean, this thing took way, way longer than I could imagine that it would. So, all right, moving on to the final stage. It has been a long and tedious process. So I got everything welded up. All that's left is wipe everything down with acetone or lacquer thinner and Turn this around here. I got to fill in the drip edge with seam sealer. Over here, there was some rust holes over the door. So I just cut that out, slid a new piece in, tacked it in. That's all repaired. The whole front is replaced finally. So I'm going to put a light coat of, I'm going to wipe all this down, put a light coat of primer on here, then put a bead of seam sealer in here where the two pieces come together all the way around. The body shop, and this isn't going to leave here and go straight to the body shop. So, you know, hopefully they'll jam on this thing quickly and, you know, cover it up, put some Duraglass in here, fill in all the little imperfections and shoot it in primer. Then I'm going to put a bead of seam sealer between the roof and the lower drip edge. That's how it was from the factory. So get this all wiped off, prepped, and then see what this other side looks like. This corner turned into a nightmare. It just needed the drip edge, and then next thing you know, it's peeling back all the layers of an onion. But yeah, I'm moderately happy with how that turned out. Like I say, let me get this thing cleaned up, wipe down. I'll put a light coat of primer on it, and then I'll bring you back, and we'll see what it looks like at the end. I'll be back. This is the end. This is the epilogue of this particular saga. All the welding is done. It's all covered in primer. The seam sealer has been applied to the drip edge on the top and the bottom lip between the cab and the bottom drip edge. Let's take a quick look and see what we got. Body shop ready. This took much longer than I anticipated. This was definitely tedious. So this will be the end, this particular chapter. Stick around. We're going to try to get the air ride started on this 51 Pontiac maybe this week. And then I picked up another project. It's kind of a cardinal sin to have two projects at once, but this will be the next project. And maybe I'll make a video on that. So I'll catch you on the next one.